Are you tired of the U.S. and just feel like you need to get out of the country for a while? We're not trying to be political. We're just trying to help all of our fellow potential full-time travelers with how to get out of the country. And if you need to do it quickly, we've got some advice for you.
Yeah, we're Chris and Steve. We've been traveling the world for the last 4 years. And when we made a decision to leave the United States, it was really just about adventure and traveling the world. And we talk to people all the time who say, oh, I wish I could be like you. I wish I could just travel the world and see new places and explore new things. And our answer is, oh, okay, do it.
Yeah,
Let's go. What's keeping you from doing it? We even wrote a book, well, I should say Chris wrote a book on the subject on really how to do this, how to get rid of all your stuff and how to and how to get out and how to, start exploring the world in freedom. And now we're talking to other people that say, I just want to get out of the States. I just want to leave the country and go someplace else. And I think there's really like 3 ways to do it. And in our experience in traveling 4 years, we think we've got the best solution on how you can do that.
Yeah. So, when we left the States, we had already been to all 50 states twice. I mean, we weren't leaving because we necessarily felt a need to leave because of circumstances. We were kind of like, we're seeking some new experiences. Let's go off and do something. We were retired. We wanted to, go off and have a rich and adventurous life. That may be a different situation now for some people. And and a lot of people even ask us like, well, what is life really like on the road as full-time travelers? So I also wrote a book, The Nomad Life, which tells us about our life, like what it is we do every day and where we go and how we make decisions and all the things that happen along the way. But for people who are just at the very beginning of this question, I mean, maybe you're having the question yourself, or you're talking to your friends and your family and you're saying things like, I got to get out of here. I want to leave the U.S. How do I get out of here? How do I travel the world? How do I just disappear? Where is a coconut island with, bananas and dark chocolate? Like, let's go. This video is for you. So we're going to talk about all 3 ways, and then we're going to talk. Hopefully, we'll convince you to do it our way. But you know what? You do whatever suits you, right? So the first one, of course, is just go take a vacation, right? I mean, if you haven't taken one in a while, it might be the right time to take one. And maybe this time you go internationally rather than go see mom and dad in California, or your grandparents in Florida, or your best friend in New York. Maybe it's time to exercise that passport a little bit and go to another country.
Yeah, we're not talking about going on vacation, and we've been to many, many vacations. We're talking about cut and run. Like you may leave the United States and you may never come back.
Right.
This is, some people have made that decision. And this is what we're talking about in this particular video. So I don't want to take a vacation and then come back to my life. I want to have a different
right.
kind of life.
So when we first started thinking about this, we really thought we were going to be expats. We were going to go find a place someplace else outside the country. Maybe it was Portugal, maybe it was Spain, maybe it was Iceland, maybe it was Australia. And we were going to go recreate our life someplace else. And that was kind of what we thought would happen. We would try to figure out what the visas were for living long-term someplace, try to figure out how much taxes we would have to pay and so on. And we thought, well, this might be interesting, but you know what? It doesn't hit that need of travel. Like how do we keep the travel part? We weren't just interested in recreating our life and playing pickleball in Lisbon.
Right.
Well, we wanted to do more.
Well, our handle is EatWalkLearn.
Right.
And so we do a lot of learning.
Wait. Who are you?
I'm Steve.
I'm Chris. EatWalkLearn. Okay, go ahead.
So, learning, exploring, walking, traveling, and
trying different foods,
eating different foods. But we did look at places like, Portugal and other kind of places to say, hey, it'd be great to live here. And in fact, as we travel around the world, we think, oh, will this be a nice place to come back to? And so, our travel lifestyle is to be about a month at a time in a particular location. And there are really some positives about what we do, but there's also positives about if you just want to leave and you want to go someplace else. So there are a number of things that you need to think about if you're going to be leaving the United States and traveling to a different country, or becoming full-time travelers like us. We're going to talk about a few of those things, and yet wait to the end, because we think the end is one of the things that catch a lot of people by surprise that they really didn't think about when they decided to leave the United States. And so we're going to talk, I think, first is, I think the most important thing is about visa implications.
Right. So as living a life of full-time travel versus living the life as an expat, we can really get by without even thinking about visas per se. Certainly there's countries that require visas, but almost every country has a tourist visa, and most of those tourist visas are anywhere from 30 days to 90 days long. And most of the time you don't even need to apply for them, or if you have to apply for them, you could apply for them right as you land, you pay a little fee, and you have a visa.
Right.
It's not like you have to do a ton of paperwork and background checks and pay a ton of fees and get lawyers involved in order to get residency visas, which is what you need when you want to be an expat.
Yeah, certainly do your research to make sure you're not going to show up in a country and they're going to turn you away because you don't have the right paperwork or the right visa. But we talk to nomads and we talk to expats all the time, and they're jumping through a lot of hoops in order to stay in a country for more than 30 or 90 days, let's say. And again, like Chris said, there's a ton of paperwork to fill out. There are a lot of costs and expenses.
Background checks.
Even in some cases, you might have to be forced to learn the language if you want to get permanent residency or you want to get citizenship in a particular country. That happened with us most recently in Latvia when we checked out getting citizenship in Latvia. So these are really important things to consider. And again, just kind of to summarize that, if you're moving, 1 month at a time, it's really a minimal effort just to make sure that you've got the right visas for the right location.
Right. And for those of you who are saying Schengen, so those people who are familiar with the visa requirements for Americans and a lot of people coming into Europe, you can only be in most places in Europe for 90 days at a time over 180 days. So that's 3 months. You can be 3 months in and 3 months out. We have to certainly play that game all the time and adjust our travel around how many days we've been in the European Union.
In the EU. And
so,
but I want to do that
but we
again.
figured it out.
That was fun. Schengen.
Schengen shuffle. Anyway, we can talk about that in another video. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next thing that really, if you're the expats versus being a full-time travel, is weather. As if you're going to be an expat, and you're going to live a place, 4 seasons. Weather is going to be a big part of what decision you make. If you're leaving the States because you don't like to shovel snow, well, you may not want to move to Norway because you're going to be shoveling snow part of the year. Us, as it's widely known that we chase 72 degrees. You can watch our video up here, and we because we chase 72. 72 degrees is a moving target that goes around the world seasonally and hemispherically, and we just follow that around the world. We don't have to worry about it.
There are things that you don't think about that we didn't know about when we started traveling. For example, in Chiang Mai in Thailand, they have burning season.
Yeah.
This is the time of year where the farmers typically burn their fields. It's very dry, and the smoke and the air quality is really not good for your health. And it's the kind of thing where a lot of people live through that. A lot of people live in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and they think it's an amazing place to live. I love it, but I don't want to be there during burning season and have to deal with the air quality. Or
the same thing, there's lots of natural disaster seasons. There's, the fire and high heat season in Australia. There's hurricane and typhoon seasons around the world. So when you're a full-time traveler, you can avoid all that and go to where the nice weather is.
But we haven't found a place where it's the best weather all year round.
Yeah.
If you know where that is, put it in the comments below.
So if it's 72 degrees, rains once or twice a month, every day, 365 days, let us know. I grew up in San Diego. It's not San Diego. Let us know. Okay. So another thing that I think people get concerned about is insurance, insurance, healthcare, wellness, those types of things, medical needs and so on. If you're an expat, what's nice about that is you can stay one place, you can have one doctor, you can have one hospital, you probably, maybe if you're a resident, you've got the local medical coverage in the country.
Exactly.
It might be fairly easy.
Yeah. There are some places, again, as you become a permanent resident, as you establish yourself in a country, to be able to tap into their healthcare system, it might be incredibly affordable for you, especially us as we're kind of getting up in our ages.
You know.
Then there may be some benefits for you. But one of the things we found, two things. One is medical care around the world is generally affordable and very high quality and accessible. We have had medical care done in places like Croatia and in Malaysia and in Turkey and
Kuala Lumpur. Well, that's Malaysia. Mexico.
Right.
I even got my teeth cleaned in Tahiti.
Get your teeth cleaned in Tahiti. There's a commercial.
So I think maybe if there's a con to full-time travel about the medical healthcare and so on, it does take a little bit more effort to figure it out, and you do have to try to figure out what kind of insurance coverage you're going to have. And then when you get someplace, you have to find a doctor, and you have to use local resources to find the medical care that you need. But the point that Steve made is it's still there, and you can still find it. I mean, if we never have to get medical care in the U.S. again, knock on wood, we'll be fine. But we've been very successful. Once you learn how to do it, we've got videos here about how to find medical care and healthcare around the world. We really support Ginkgo as our insurance provider. Once you figure it out, it's just part of your daily task or your monthly tasks, and you just move on.
Yeah, and again, we're relatively healthy. We know everybody's situation is different, and there may be some things that are keeping you from traveling, or you need to find that particular location that you need to sit still and you need to become, a resident so that you can tap into the medical system for your particular condition. But we have found, again, around the world,
right,
medical care is completely available. Related to that is the cost of insurance and the availability of insurance. There are full-time global health insurance policies that you can get, and you don't have to necessarily rely, in your U.S. health insurance policy is that you may not be available overseas, but there are policies available wherever you go.
Yeah, and you can watch our video here about insurance.
Right.
Okay, the next thing, number 4, is just the cost of things. So we like the term geoarbitrage. What this means is some countries are cheap and some are expensive. And if you've got a budget that you need to manage, and maybe staying as an expat in one place, your dollar doesn't go far enough, living as a full-time traveler, your dollar will go further. So if you need to spend 6 months in Thailand because it's cheaper, and then 3 months in England and 2 months in Australia and 1 month in Mexico in order to make your expenses come together for your annual budget, full-time travel is a great way to be able to do that.
Right.
And for those of you who haven't been following us, we travel on about a $50,000 a year budget for the two of us. And that's all in everything from insurance to toenail clippers. Everything includes everything that we spend our money on. So, and you can watch many videos that we have about what our cost of living is annually.
Yes. So we came to the last one. I told you that this one was good. Was scary. That it surprised some people that we've talked to who have decided to establish themselves in a particular country, but they didn't check out the tax implications. And there are a number of countries that you're going to have some serious tax implications that you may not be aware of.
Right. The U.S. has relationships with countries around the world. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes there's this double taxation indemnity, and sometimes there's not. So taxes around. The good news about the U.S. is taxes are relatively low. And when you go elsewhere in the world, the taxes are higher, but you really have to look at what you're getting for your taxes. And this video is not about that. The point that we want to make is, as nomads, we pay taxes. We pay our U.S., we just filed our taxes this year, April 15th coming up. We just filed our taxes for the U.S. because Steve's got Social Security income, I have capital gains income. We pay those taxes. As we travel around the world, we pay whatever the local VAT tax is, or whatever the property tax is that's included in our rent at our Airbnb, or maybe we pay sales tax someplace. So we're paying taxes. We are not paying extra income tax or extra property tax per se. I mean, we might in our hotel bill or something, but those are taxes that expats certainly will need to pay based on what country they're in. So it's complicated. And if you're trying to get out of the US quickly and you get stuck on the tax question, maybe try some full-time travel first. And maybe while you're traveling, you do find the place that you want to be an expat, but try the full-time traveling option first to get you out of there quicker.
Yeah. So whether you're the dreamy person who is like, I just want to leave the US and lie on the beach
and
feel the cool breeze, or you're the practical person that says, I'm ready to leave. I want to go someplace else that I don't have to deal with all of these things. Full-time travel, doing this 1 month at a time type of traveling lifestyle is affordable and it's easy, it's convenient, and can save you a lot of headaches.
Yeah, but you got to carry your stuff with you everywhere.
You got it. That's right.
If you want to know more about carrying your stuff with you everywhere, you can watch this video on how to get rid of your stuff and travel lightly, because it is a big part of being a full-time traveler. We'll talk to you next week. See you soon.